Hello. So, I bet you're wondering, what is this all about? Especially seeing the length of the video. This was something I wanted to do for a while now, or for almost a few years now. I always wanted to interview people who do VTubing or just content creating in general. And with my friend here, I was happy enough. I was glad enough that she agreed to do an interview with me. The plan was to try to have it for about 20 or 30 minutes, maybe an hour, but we got carried away with the conversations that we made it up to 4 hours of the session. That by the time we finished, it was already 6:30 in the morning for me and around 9 p.m. for her. So yeah, I'd say if you want to see more, definitely hit the subscribe button or hit the notifications to get notified when the next video is up, because this is going to be a two-parter video. I definitely had to figure a way to figure out where to stop for this first video and then lead off to the second video. And also forgive me for the messy quality. This was definitely like on the spot. I thought I had everything figured out, but when it came to recording, it definitely was a bit messed up. That I just went along with whatever we had, and I was happy enough that she was patient enough to go along with my craziness and definitely give me the time to chat with her, because again, she is very, very fun to talk with, and she is trying to get a partnership with Twitch. So if you have an account with Twitch, definitely give her a follow, subscribe to her, help her reach that goal. And if you want to see more of her stuff, I'll leave the link down below for her Twitter account and Blue Sky account. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this conversation I had with my friend Tani, or Rtanix, which whenever you like to go with. But yeah. Because even though it's been like almost an hour already, I've totally forgot pretty much to have you introduce yourself, literally all the way to this stuff, because we kind of just jumped into this whole thing. And I totally forgot about that.
No, you're good. Would you like me to then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sure. I will try my best. Well, hello. I'm Tan, a dragon VTuber, who does, I guess, a variety of games. I do, like a variety of things. Very easygoing, very nice, things like that. I'm very chill, lax most of the time, but I also, again, am quite quirky and can be either chill to then chaotic, or chaotic to then chill, or things like that. So I'm a bit all over the place, but I think that adds to my charm.
I'll try to find a way to cut this and just move this all the way to the beginning.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
But
hopefully that was good enough.
No, yeah, that was fine.
On the spot, I'm like, yeah, let's just come up with something.
But actually, I actually wanted to ask you, when I was, because I think I saw you pop up on Zen's Discord every now and then in the movie chat.
Yes.
What does the R stand for in your name? Because I've always heard people just say Rtanix or Tani and stuff like that, but I've never really heard them say the R or what it meant.
So it's a bit of an actual, like, short but funny story with my, like, username and stuff, and it has to do with my uncle. So funny enough, that was another thing that I have kind of struggled with, was like branding myself with like a name. I've always been like, oh man, like I'm not too sure, like I actually don't know like what kind of name and stuff. And before I even could think of one, because I was literally, I think I was literally like 10 years old or something, pretty young, before I could even think of something like that, like a gamer tag, even for Xbox 360, you know? My uncle was the one that was a bit more the fun uncle with like gaming and stuff, and so he also was a bit of like a influence in that. and a big game that I would also play was Minecraft. And he was the one that introduced me on his laptop, and I was like, man, what? I want to play. What the heck? That's so cool. I love it. So I was actually a big Minecraft fan. I mean, I still am. But I was definitely a big Minecraft fan. That even with going back to saying, you know, like how I want to be a YouTuber, I actually considered being a Minecraft YouTuber as well. Yeah. So I was actually a big fan of Minecraft stuff. But yeah, he let me play, and he was even just nice enough to just be like, "Do you just want my account so I didn't have to like pay for it," kind of thing. And the funny thing of it is that's where Rtanix came from. That was his account, Rtanix. And he gave it to me. And at first, it kind of started as like, oh, I would just borrow his account and just play Minecraft at home and stuff. And he would, you know, obviously he would tell me the password so I could log in. But then yeah, he eventually was just like, do you just take it? He's like, just take it, it's yours. And I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever, thank you so much. And I just took it. And then I think that's the funny thing, is that I think I just like after that something stuck, and I just really liked the name, and I just like from then on I just all of a sudden just kept using it for more and more accounts and more things. And I think my uncle ended up just like, he kind of went more the route of being like the person who uses like his actual name in abbreviation for his username stuff. So like it would be like his first letter, first name, then his middle name letter, and then maybe the last one letter, or you know what I mean, like kind of like abbreviate it and stuff in a username. But yeah, so I took it. I essentially just took it and I just ran with it, and I just kind of just and I've gotten this far and I've just had it. So yeah, so to be honest, there is no real meaning to any of it. I just think of it as a username. And the reason why I get called Tan and stuff is that my two best friends that I met early on into getting into like having my first PC and gaming and stuff like that, and meeting on VR chat, they were like, oh, you know, like Rtanix, but then they were like, can I just call you Tan for short? And I was like, huh. I was like, Tan, huh? You know what? That's cute. That rings a bell. I was like, that's pretty nice actually, because I think. Because like again, it was like things that I just didn't think of, because I was like, oh, I have a username now, cool, like Rtanix. But then I guess I also didn't like counter in the fact that like I guess people don't want to just say Rtanix.
Right.
So it's not as like I guess like a bit more human, I guess, like you know, like a bit more meaningful and a little bit more playful saying it, you know. I mean, even for, you know, Zen, like people call Zen, but it's Zentreya, you know, like no one really goes Zentreya.
Right.
They usually just go Zen, or if they're joking, Zentreya. But so yeah, she just was just like, can I just call you Tan for sure? And I was like, that's so clever, because what she did, because she told me, she was like, she just took the Tan in Rtanix. So she just shortened it, and I was like, that's so clever. I was like, yeah, I love that, and I just stuck with it ever since. And then I've come across a couple people who kind of do the same thing, or like play around with it, and that's why like Rtanix has come up. I've had the newer one with my friend group with Bear and stuff has been like Tanny. And I think that's the one that people use in that Discord as well. Tanny, Rtanix, things like that. But yeah, all very interesting and very cute. I've just stuck with it since.
No, that's like one of the interesting names I've ever heard, or the origins of that kind of name, because usually it's just something that people either just like the name or just randomly made up. Because for me, I just I think I found a Shadow the Hedgehog for the GameCube, and I just liked the name. I picked that, and then I just went with the date of my birthday, which is 11. So I just put Shadow 11, and that's it.
Yeah, and I think funny on that as well is the reason why I also liked which is something, not anything wrong with that. It's just how I prefer things. But I have always liked that username where like there's no numbers on it. So I think I had to this one time for Xbox because for some reason somehow someone stole Rtanix on there, so I had to be creative and I actually did Rtanix, but the T was a 7.
Oh.
So it was like, yeah, I was like, oh, I'm also clever with that one. I was like, yeah, look at that. But then I don't know, I felt like that looked good for Xbox games type of thing, but I was like, even on Twitter, that one was stolen as well, and I was like, damn, I was like, what do I do?
Oh, wow.
For like my @. But I just didn't think that looked as good, and plus I think being on Twitter, I think there's more confusion. Because if they see me as R7Anix, they're just gonna think it's R7Anix and not Rtanix. So I was like, okay, crap. So then I had to do the whole like Rtanix VT.
Right.
And it's actually kind of annoying because the account that has my username is a dead account.
Oh my.
That hasn't been used in years, and it's blank and has nothing, no media, no bio. I think maybe a bio at least, but not even a profile picture, banner, or anything. It's just, I was like, bro.
You would think that they would delete
I can't
those
do anything
accounts.
about it. Yeah. Can't do anything, and I'm like, man, that sucks.
Especially for the fact that to do an interview specifically, because
yeah.
I hope you don't mind if I just started recording to do this whole thing.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
Because my whole plan was come on, work, there we go. Shit. It was to pretty much after seeing other content creators, not just VTubers specifically, I've seen people do podcasts or just regular interviews, that it was something I wanted to try to do later on in the future, because at the time I only had a laptop and that barely ran any games, so it was definitely a hard time for me to even try to do something like this until recently, where a buddy of mine gave me his old gaming PC. It still works perfectly fine. It's just I'm not trying to push it as much with a lot of graphics and with games and stuff like that. So being able to have somebody help me out with this kind of thing, where I just want to talk with other people, not just VTubers specifically, but people who are content creators who have done this for a lot longer than I have.
Yeah.
So to pretty much start this all off, my first question for you is, did you start streaming before you became a VTuber, or was it something that came along with it?
Well, funny enough, starting out with streaming, I did stream before being a VTuber. I actually, before VTubers and everything, I was actually more of a fan of faceless YouTubers. So I was a really big fan of like H2O Delirious.
Really?
Yes!
Oh my god!
I freaking love him! I love him so much. I think he's so funny, and he was always my favorite. But I always liked...
Hey guys! What the hell's this?
Okay.
What are you doing out
Hard
there?
to get in there.
Delirious needs to be
Get
taught.
in there.
None of your business. None of your business. He can't come. Oh, he's coming. He's coming.
Possibly going that way, would he? Get him, Evan! Get him, Evan! Get him, Evan! Get him, Evan!
Evan! Run, Evan! Run!
Are they? Are they still in there?
Are you kidding me, Evan?
No, don't do that! Don't!
How the fuck did you get away? Oh, he's right here!
Son of a bitch!
I was just like, how long will it take Evan to figure out he's
I
behind?
couldn't see him.
That was
favorite.
fucking
But I always liked that you know, it was like faceless YouTuber. So actually, technically, funny enough, I wanted to be a YouTuber. But it didn't go as planned because I then, realized how much goes into being a YouTuber compared to a streamer.
Right.
Just because of the whole like process of like making sure like simply even just like video ideas, what you're gonna record, recording, trying to be funny like for the recording, and then editing, and just like this whole process. And I was like, man, I ain't got time for that. So I ended up doing more streaming, and that was a bit more comfortable for me because then I could just kind of have fun right on the spot. And so I did start streaming without anything. So it was very, very much also like Swagger Souls.
All right.
Also like Swagger Souls.
Are you low on health? Oh my god, I think I'm fine. Stay still.
Don't speak.
What is that? Oh, you healed me. Yeah, a little syringe gun. Oh my god, I'm feeling very. Just fucking collapse. Stimmy Neutron is the best player. When Jimmy Neutron needs fucking financial relief from COVID. Hey, Stimmy. It's socialism, Jim.
I hear a car. I hear a Carl. He's wheezing.
Yeah.
Jimmy,
My scapula. Just hear him in the distance.
Jimmy. I've heard legends about you. I know what they call you.
What do they call me?
The racist snowman.
The best breakdancer
Oh my god.
in all of the West. You could take this moment to shoot me.
I can't. You're the fastest draw in the West. You'd shoot me before I even got a shot off on you.
You're right.
Unless I drove away! The slowest car in the world.
Swagger Souls, and it was like the same thing, just nothing, no webcam, no little PNG tuber, just the gameplay, and yeah, so that's how it basically started.
So that's a bit of
yeah.
a this is a bit of a surprise because not a lot of people I know or on Discord know like H2O Delirious or him and his group, because it's usually just me
Really?
and my it's usually just me and my siblings who know them or the people he plays with. So hearing you say that you're a fan of him is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
And
No, I forget he's so funny.
and the fact that you did the opposite that I'm doing is a bit amazing, because for me, I think streaming is a bit more difficult compared to YouTube, because even though I have like all the desktop and stuff like that to do streaming, I don't think I could do streaming or be funny enough to do that. I've kind of preferred to do, I guess, something that not a lot of people are doing, especially as a VTuber or a PNG tuber, is to just be a regular YouTuber with a PNG model. And
Yeah.
I could understand why some people think being a YouTuber is very difficult to do compared to streaming on Twitch, because before, like me, I never planned to be a YouTuber at all. It just randomly happened that I wanted to show some friends some clips of Monster Hunter World, just some things that I played or monsters I fought against, and what was it? It sort of grew because later on, I started to have the idea of, well, I just want to show more things to my friends of games that I've played that they probably don't know, or the fact that some old games that my siblings have played with me a long time ago, that it's something I want to revisit again, and which is what I'm doing right now again with playing old games. Like I played I played Conker's Bad Fur Day not too long ago. That was literally my my childhood game, even though it is a bit rated R or M for mature, especially for a kid. My
Yeah.
my uncle, funny enough, gave it to me as a kid, and my brother. My mom, she had no clue what the game was until later on when we started playing, where it has like different kinds of multiplayers where you're actually robbing a bank, a war, but it's with squirrels and teddies, cavemen, and going against dinosaurs and stuff like that. And the thing was,
Okay.
the game is very, very violent with the stuff that they do, where you could headshot people and it just pops like a balloon, or with the dinosaurs, you could literally eat the character up. And
Oh, okay, yeah.
and I'm not saying my mom didn't care at the time of the games that we played. It's just it wasn't something she didn't bother because we didn't have much violent video games. It was more so Mario 64, Mario Kart, and stuff like that. So being able to be that quote unquote PNG tuber that plays old games but at the same time playing modern games is something I want to do because every now and then I'll hear my sister tell me that she saw me upload my first video of, let's say, Pokemon Stadium. We've played that so many times as a kid that it was something that they would ask me every now and then if we have the game, or if we could help them out on how to play it. And that's another thing I want to do is I plan on collecting old games, like especially now with today where most of the things are digital, that now they're being taken down from the store. I rather have collections of old consoles because later on maybe my sisters want to play it, or down the line in the future my kids want to play old games that I've played.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah.
It's a bit interesting, especially getting feedback, because for me, I never planned on being a YouTuber. It was more so my little cousin that wanted to do it, but he didn't have, I guess, the knowledge or the equipment to do so, and then somehow it fell onto me to do it. And every now and then I'll get comments from him saying how he enjoys some of the gameplays that I've done, or just the random stuff I've been saying, because before I never really said anything. It was just more so the gameplay, not me talking or anything I had to represent me, until later on I got a mic. I did have a headset with the mic, but it didn't sound really good at all. It just sounded like very choppy and old.
Yeah, that was mine as well. Like with the when I first started doing streaming, it was like my headset mic that I have. Actually, I use the same type of headset that I've had to like get a couple times because maybe it's broken or something like that. But yeah, had the same thing. But then I eventually got a HyperX microphone because I was like, I need a better microphone.
Oh, speaking of which, I have, because I forget the mic I have right now, but I always saw the HyperX microphone, and I wasn't too sure if it was either good or not to even get.
I won't lie, I get a bit conflicted with that question myself sometimes, and I have questioned whether to get a different microphone, and someone said just because, which again, it could be because I don't have much knowledge in how to make it better, or you know, like, because you can always have stuff, but you can never, like, sometimes not actually know how to use it to the best of your ability.
Right.
So, you know, I do notice my biggest issue that I come across is that, you know, I am a female streamer. I do have a bit of a higher pitched voice, and especially when I go to squeal or get scared or excited, it definitely can, I think, like be a bit of an issue if it doesn't pick it up.
Mhm.
Which I had a friend help me out and play around in my OBS settings and stuff, so like my noise gate and stuff wouldn't cut me out too much. I think it still kind of does, but it's much better thanks to them. So I do appreciate their help with that. But that's always been my main problem with microphones, is just being a female and like being a bit more squealy and stuff, where like, you know, like, cause it's funny because you'll look up videos on microphones, but majority of the time it actually will be dudes reviewing the microphone, and they'll have it crisp and beautiful because they talk very clear and precise into the microphone like this at all times, and I'm just like here like screaming and yapping and like freaking out, and it's like no wonder my mic peaks and sounds like so but yeah, so
speaking of that, I remember when I was doing research on you, one of the clips that I found was you playing what looked like a battle royale. I think what was it? I think what looked like a Western supernatural kind of thing. I don't know the name of it, but
are you talking about Hunt Showdown?
I think it was.
Is it like yeah, I do. It's definitely like older, like in the bayou type of
yes
look, and you have to like survive through other players trying to kill you, and then also get the bounty from like the monsters, which could be like this giant gross spider or big butcher dude.
Forgot about the but when I was watching that clip, you definitely sounded a bit more quiet compared to how you sound right now. I don't know if it was because you had the volume down, or it was just the way the video was.
To be honest, because I mean, I've also had issues even within this Discord, because I'll have friends tell me that like I'm really quiet in Discord, but then I'm like, oh, but then I'm louder on, you know, like for my streams and stuff, and then it's like and then also I won't lie, another problem that I come across is that like depending on my mood and demeanor, I can like change. So like for that, I think the clip I know that you're referring to is the one where I did like the clutch and I killed a lot of people. That is my best, by the way. That is my best. That is definitely not what I'm like playing that game all the time. I'm definitely baby still, but that was my best, and that's why I highlighted it, because I was like, oh my god, I did it finally, I clutched. But I think I know exactly what you mean by that one though, but because I do have, I haven't fully gotten checked out for ADHD, but my older sister actually has. So she does in fact have it, and I know it's it does pass you know, through family and stuff, and we are very much alike. So it's a very, very high chance that I do have ADHD. So I won't lie that when I get very like when I focus on a game, I can get very quiet or not talk as much because I'm very zoned in. Cause yeah, that moment was definitely tense. I was like definitely not wanting to bring down the team, and it was like me solely like clutching there, and I had to just really focus. And I do mumble a little, so.
Oh no, I get that. There will be times where you're just too focused in the game, that, especially where I've done it in recording, where I'm just like, too focused that I want to either beat a level or just get through a level that like an hour passed and it's just not me saying anything, or it's just me getting mad or something, until it hits me like, oh wait, I gotta talk. What the hell?
Yeah, and even with Hunt Showdown, the thing about that game is you very much want to be quiet when it gets to tense moments, because then, I mean, then you can hear people, you can hear them cocking the gun behind a wall, or like, you definitely sound is your biggest, like, help in the game, like listening, because there's a lot of sound cues, a lot, and I'm still getting used to them. There's still like maybe like my friend Ounce, who introduced me to the game, and I play more with him. He's at the level, like he's been playing it for years, and he's at the level where he can even tell which bullets are being fired in the distance or
Whoa.
at us. Like he could be like, oh, that's a blah blah blah, or oh, that's a blah 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 gun or something. And I'm like, what? How can you? I can't even. Sure.
What the
I'm just like,
hell?
that's a gun, and it goes blam. That's all I know. Okay.
Holy crap.
So yeah, it's very. I guess the game is very, from my experience, very sound cue, sound design focused.
I don't think I've ever gone too into a game just like that to memorize like specific things just like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think with Hunt, I do recognize that. I think that's definitely more of a game I like to play more in private, I find. So, because I think it's because I know that, which not to say because I know there's other VTubers or streamers who do like literally stream just Hunt Showdown.
Right.
But I think what it is, it's like one, I am pretty baby at it, and then two, it's I do get quiet when I have to be quiet for the game and listen and stuff. So it's like I don't feel that I have enough commentary on that game sometimes. So that's also why I don't stream that one too often. Even it being multiplayer and playing with others, I also can get that way where, you know, I'm obviously focused on people I'm collabing with, or, you know, so it's that ADHD brain, like one box at a time, maybe, I don't know, yeah.
Well, that actually leads up to another question I wanted to ask is, did you grow up playing video games, or was it just something that later came up?
I definitely grew up with video games. I don't know, I think growing up I've always been the one that's been interested in games. Not to say like because I'm a middle child of an older sister and a younger sister. Also sorry for my model.
No, you're good.
It's been having issues lately. I do not know why. I have to figure that one out too. But yeah, I did grow up always kind of being the one that really liked to play games and stuff.
What was the first console that you ever got, or the one that you played?
So it's interesting because I feel like in my household it was like we very much were variety, because you know, I grew up with Xbox 360 and then like PlayStations, like I think it was up to 2, 3, then 4 now. Because I think my dad's more into PlayStation, and then I think me and my older sister are more into Xbox. But I've never really minded, and I've always liked the idea of like, I guess, having variety and choosing, like, so I don't actually mind too much. So I definitely grew up a bit more on console, because I kind of was the same way where I only really had a laptop and it couldn't really handle a lot of games.
Right.
So for like laptop stuff, it was definitely like things like Minecraft or like simple, like especially being younger, like you know, like those old like online like kids games, like I don't know if it's like I don't know if some of them like not American ones, but maybe it will resonate with some people. But like Animal Jam or like Mushy Monsters. Yeah, I think I'm not too sure if I think not many people know of that. It might be an Australian thing.
Probably.
But I was very young for those kinds of games. But that was just, I mean, all I could really play with the laptop.
Right, because
So yeah.
Or
the Wii, sorry. Yeah, we even had the Wii. So yeah, very variety. So I was always growing up very
so then
different games.
So then you would say like the Xbox was your first console that you played, or was it the PlayStation? Or did you guys start off with any of the old Super Nintendo games?
I sadly didn't. I wasn't that far. The furthest that I remember is like Xbox 360, Wii, and PlayStation 2 is probably the earliest that I remember. I'm sure that my dad might have had like maybe older stuff, but yeah, that's all that I was growing up with, funny enough. So I think I just missed out, kind of thing. Like it was like that bordering, like just missed out on like the older stuff. So
Okay.
I think that's also why I didn't grow up playing too much of like things like you know, like Mario, Nintendo games a lot. Unless it was like on the Wii at the time. So Mario Kart, definitely, you know, like things like that were very easier to get for Wii, but anything earlier, no.
Okay,
sadly.
No, because I wanted to say that over here as a kid in kindergarten, we had more of cool math or Newgrounds.
Yeah, I had that in school. Yeah, we would have at the school that I was at in primary school, we'd have that little like the room specifically for just like the PCs in there and stuff. And it was kind of cool because they would actually allow, I think it's been so long, but I think it was like a certain day that they would do like, open up the PC room and let the kids like play on the PCs. Like during lunchtime type of thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was pretty. I thought it was pretty cool of them to do that. I was like, hell yeah! So, but the thing about it though is that obviously those PCs are very like hard locked on what you can play. Obviously though, so it's not like you can look up very bad games or anything.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely like you would try and it would just say access denied.
Because
so
for
definitely
me,
cool math games and Plants vs Zombies.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
that was always fun.
because for me, we had classes, or every now and then, one of the days would be to go to the computer room to do specific tasks that they had us do, and that once we finished, we would be able to get to play anything that we could.
Oh yeah, that happened too. That definitely happened at my school as well. Cause sometimes we might have like a class where we need the PCs, but then they would be like, they would do the exact same thing where they're like, okay, well, class, if you're finished early, you get that extra spare time to play games. And we're like, hell yeah! and I would like rush to get that done, and then I'd be like, yeah, games, let's go.
Did you ever get to have, or did any of your, during your primary school, did you ever get laptops, or no? Or was it just like the desktops?
Funny enough, I think for primary school, so like younger school, it was. No, we didn't. It was purely just that room with the PCs that you would go into. I think in high school, like early. Also, sorry for my dog. Start of like high school, I think they tried to do like, in which I thought it was cool and I liked it, but it was obvious. So basically, they were like, we'll give the students, the newer students, these tablets, because they would do more of like a laptop system where like you would be given a laptop that you could use throughout like schooling and stuff, or for just schooling. So you'd always have like the IT guys that could help you if you had issues or like just things like that. But yeah, I think for like the early start to high school, they gave us tablets instead.
Really?
Touchscreen tablets. But the thing about it, which sucks, is that I loved it because in my own spare time, because like you would take the laptops or the tablets home. In my spare time at home, I would, because it was touchscreen, you would get a pen. I'd use that to draw.
Oh my god.
So I would use it to draw. But the thing about that one and why it failed was because students kept being quite, I guess, the shitheads and were using it for the wrong reasons, like downloading games and playing games. And I was actually witness to one event of this happening. Like a boy was in front of me, and I think he just wasn't paying attention to the teacher speaking, and so the teacher was like, pay attention. They were like, what's on your screen? And they were like, nothing. But I could see behind them, and they had like a game open. And they did like the typical, okay, turn it around. And he quickly like double pressed the button so it would disappear. And And then he turned it around, was like, look, see, nothing. And it was just, yeah. So that kind of kept happening. And I think the school recognized that immediately. And so they actually did a re-roll and took them back. So then we ended up, like, the same as everyone else, getting laptops. So
I think I'm a bit older than you, because for me, we never really had tablets at all during my high school year.
That was the only time, to be fair, but
Because well, in my elementary school, from to 5th grade is when we got laptops, and because of that, we were able to take it home with us. So I think they stopped doing that, because the thing that me and a couple of my friends did was we would literally, like, I'd say 10 or 15 minutes before the end of the school, we would literally make a ton of tabs and just start going to like Newgrounds or Cool Math or even on YouTube and just save it, and then once we're done, put the laptop to sleep and then just take it home and then just do whatever we wanted there. But I think they stopped after something must have happened. I'm not really too sure, because I think my youngest sister, I don't think she's ever gone to take a laptop home with her, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So I think they stopped it. But yeah,
yeah.
we've never really got tablets at all in my high school, or let alone laptops, because it was only the desktops, and that was it. So yeah, hearing that you were able to do that, especially, then you also lead up to another question of mine, was drawing.
Oh yes.
I didn't even know some some tablets had the pen with them, or was it just a what do you call it, a pen that they bought to go with the tablet, or was it something that goes along with the tablet? Like, was it already a function inside of it?
So the tablet was actually more so literally like a tablet, but it was like those ones where the case would turn into the keyboard. Yeah, so technically speaking, it would be like, you know, like where like a phone, you would have those cases where you can just like flip it and like stand it up. It was like that kind of case for the tablet, so you could stand it up, and this one side would just have like the bit, like the I'm not sure what type it was, but just like the very like simple keyboard, not like very like squishy, malleable kind of keyboard, if that makes sense. Yeah. And that's where, you know, the pens would come with the tablet, because technically like it is just like a tablet, and that's where the touchscreen came with it. Because I think in my school for the laptops they always had it at, I think it was like Windows 10. But for the tablets they tried also going for like, I think it was like Windows 11 or something.
On
so
a
like
tablet?
Especially when it, like on that tablet. Because I think that's where especially people were being more shitheads, because I had more functionality of like, you know, like the double pressing that one button, and then like all like the so on all the apps and stuff. It was a bit more like, I don't know, but yeah, they're just
But yeah, what I wanted to say was like, since I've seen some of your artwork on Twitter, or I would see you on your Twitch with some of your drawing streams, did you take classes, or were you just like self-taught?
I actually was self-taught, yes. I actually don't think I've ever taken a art class, except for like more like art like classes, as in like in school, like
just like an activity class.
Yeah, but that so the funny thing about that though, and why I didn't do it as long as I would have liked to, is that with those types of art classes in school, is the only problem I had with it is that like you don't necessarily get to do what you want.
Right.
It's very like, oh, okay, class, we're gonna be painting, and we have to paint this, like, whatever you like. It has to be like a picture, and you have to like replicate it onto the canvas. When, you know, I could be like, oh, but I just kind of felt like drawing pencil on paper, you know, like, or like, so it was very like, they tried to make you do more like wacky, fun, cool things. When at the end of the day, I just wanted to draw my own stuff, or like, you know, like that kind of thing. And also the fact that they made it definitely way more boring, because they made it feel more like 20 or 30% art,
Right.
and the rest of the percentage was actually like written.
Wait,
because
what?
you had to, so it was more like things like you would do the art. That was the easy part. Well, I mean, depending on what we had to do, but that was kind of the quote-unquote easy part, like doing the art. And then they would sit there and be like, okay, now to write about it. So, and it would be like the typical bull crap of like, so how does this painting make you feel?
What
And
the hell?
what do these colors express? What kind of emotion do they evict upon the person looking at it? And what kind of methods did you use to with the lighting, or like, it was like all of that kind of crap. And so that's why I didn't do it, definitely, especially in the higher grades, because they made it even more so like essay written more.
Oh god.
And I had friends who did like art up until the older years, and yeah, they absolutely despised it for that, because they were like showing me, and man, they showed me their Word document, and they were just scrolling and scrolling of pages, and I was like, that is disgusting.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I was like, thank God I didn't continue. Just from me being bored of like not being able to do my own thing. But then also learning about that and just being bored of that too. I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Peaced out, and then didn't do it in the older grades. To go on to like the drawing and stuff, my mom also is really good at drawing. She's good at painting. She's actually, she's the type of mom that's good at like anything. She's very creative. Like even just as an example, for my younger sister, she helped her in her art class, and they had to do like, I'm not sure what it was actually like the subject was, but I think basically, from my knowledge anyway, they had to get sticks and create something. And she went out into our yard, literally picked up sticks and made a horse.
Wait, what?
Yep, that's my mom.
Holy crap! Wait.
She's very creative and very smart and very artistic.
Wait,
yeah.
Was it like a very detailed horse, or was
It's like, imagine like grabbing a bunch of sticks and then just like shaping it everywhere. So like it had gaps in between and stuff, but like the shape was there of a horse. Like it didn't have like, you know, like googly eyes on it or anything. Like no like detail like that, but it was definitely like a very simplistic. But you could tell, like, looking at it, it was a horse, like, the shape of it. It was just crazy. She's done a lot of stuff, and helped us girls out with, like, art stuff before, and she's just always come up with such, like, smart, creative things. So I don't know if it's, like, more of a case of, like, maybe it just passed down a little bit, like, I just got, like, a crumb of that, like...
No, because, like, your stuff is really amazing, because,
Oh, thank you.
I guess you could say have been in a what do you call an art block for almost a year. Because for me, technically, okay, so have you ever heard stories of how some people would get into accidents or fall, and then when they recover or when they wake up, they somehow learn a new language or a new talent and stuff like that?
I think I've slightly heard something about that, yeah.
So for me, I had an accident as a kid in my early middle school, I want to say. From what I remember, my little brother and my neighbor were playing with a kickball, and it got stuck on one of the trees. So I as a kid, you could climb whatever, thinking you could do whatever and not get hurt.
Yeah.
I climbed up the tree with no issues. I got the ball down, but I guess I got distracted or something. But my foot slipped or the branch broke that I somehow fell head first onto the ground. But it wasn't like dirt or anything like that. The tree was literally next to concrete.
Oh no!
Yeah. It felt like a few seconds, but I'm not really too sure. I got up like nothing. I wasn't bleeding or anything, thankfully, but
goodness.
it definitely hurted. But that following day, sorry, that night I randomly decided to grab a piece of paper, a pen, and just started drawing a design from a t-shirt I had. I still have it to this day, but I just randomly drew it out of nowhere, and after that I just got the kick of drawing. And crazy enough, my little sister also had an accident where she got hit by a car. Thankfully nothing bad happened to her, but she somehow got the ability to draw just like I did, but she does it way better compared to me. But yeah, because I also have this mindset of I want to draw this or that, because every now and then where I'm either at work or driving or even like taking a shower, where you have those bathroom shower thoughts, those random ideas would just pop up that I want to draw it, but then when the time comes to actually draw something, I don't have that drive to do it, or it just doesn't come out as what I thought it would be in my head.
Yeah.
Because because I don't have a drawing tablet. I literally draw everything on my phone. And
oh wow, yeah. My younger sister started doing that, and then she's only recently got a tablet now. And she's like, oh my gosh, thank God.
yeah,
But I was also amazed by that, because I was like, how? Such a tiny screen and like just your hands, like it is a skill, it really is.
it is very, very difficult because I never drew digitally. It was always just on pen and paper.
I started pen and paper, funny enough. I was more traditional. And it was, I think, funny enough, what had sparked it was that time that I had the school tablet was because I tried drawing these hands. I think from memory it was like I drew hands, and one of the hands was like holding like a rose. And that kind of sparked, and I was like, huh, curious. But then, you know, like I said, they took the tablets away, and I was like, oh man. And then I had to be very I had to kind of like make it up like how I wanted to do digital art, because this is very interesting, but because I was so intrigued by it and I was like, man, I don't want that to stop me though, I want to like get into it, I actually would then start to do I would start to draw and paint, but the thing about paint is that, like I said, I didn't have a tablet, I didn't have a pen, so I actually did art with the line tool.
Whoa.
I used to do art with a line tool. I wish I would have kept my old art, but it's like I've always been someone who's always been like, delete it. I won't even lie, like my personal life, like I've been that way with like pictures and stuff. Like I always don't have older pictures because I'm like, delete it, it's ugly, delete it. But then I do regret it now, because you know I have seen recently like people who do like where they started to now.
Right.
And I did do that one, it's been a while now. I did one of my old live titty to this one, but it's just curious because it was like, I had to kind of like really fish for that one through like, I think I was lucky because I had like an old board, and my very old VOD channel,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh thank God I have something. But it was just kind of curious though to see people actually still have their old models within the program to play with.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, huh, damn. I was like, I wish I could have like kept it actually. That would have been funny to do that, but
Yeah, because while I was still doing research on you, I found your YouTube channel, and then I saw one of your shorts where it was your old model to your new model right now, which is always a bit surprising to me because you are a dragon. For me, I literally have no idea what I want my model to be. It was just something random I drew years ago, and because I had different types of what do you call it, poses, I guess, where I could actually make my model talk and stuff like that. I just went along with it because I do want to update it or at least make it a little bit more better, but I like, for me, I can't really think of what do you call it, a theme, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
For you, how did you come up with the idea of becoming a dragon?
Yeah. So it's actually intriguing because I think for my case, it's strange because there's things that, like, for some reason I've just always known that I wanted certain things. So I think I first started out like because I would do art, I would always picture the main features was like I would always picture like the red ombre hair that I have now. Like I've always been like a red hair, like ombre, fiery look. So I've always been like into that. And then what was it? I used to have my character where they would have like buns. So it would be like the back two buns and then like the long, like red ombre hair. And then the outfit that I would always choose would be like a orange sweater and overalls. But I think as time progressed, it was like it kind of just like grew from what I had and then just kept growing and growing and adding more to what I already liked kind of thing. So, you know, like with this model I have now, you know, I do still have the red ombre, and technically I did change up a little. It's still a little homage to that though, that instead of like the two buns, I have two little pigtails. So still a bit of like an homage to that. And then also I did grow up loving Skyrim. Skyrim is my comfort game, my favorite game growing up. So it just kind of like branched off of that and thinking like, oh my god, I love the whole concept of just dragons. I love the whole concept of fire, like flamey colors and just like that sort of thing. So that's where like it grew. And then the thing about it as well is that I've always had, I think like what you were getting at, I've always had ideas, but it was always really hard to put them all and mash them together to make them look really nice. And like I think like before I got help, like I had like again it was good, but I really felt like it could have been better. So that was when I decided to get my model mama's help, and I actually commissioned her for like design, like a character design. And I told her literally, because that was the thing, I had all these ideas and that like how I wanted it and everything. It was just really hard to just make it look really good. So like, you know, like I said like things like, oh, because technically I also had like the same kind of dress thing. Like I had like a one-piece dress thing. I always wanted like armor on the shoulders, like something. Because I've always been a mix of things. Like I've always liked things that are like tough, but I also like things that are elegant and pretty and cute, but then also tomboyish. And I'm like, and it was like that was a thing that I would get confused by because I liked all of these different like opposites of each other. So it was really hard to like stick with one, and I guess that's where my design came from, was because it was like a mix of like, you've got the armor for being tough, and then you got like the nice dress as elegance, and then like, yeah, so it's definitely interesting seeing it all come together with the help of my model mama, making it come to life. And then that's also where after her making it, I was like, you know what, this is really, really pretty. I was like, could you just make it a model? I was just like, please, like, it's just too, like, it was like, I think I wasn't expecting it to be so perfect, especially the ref suit that I got. It was just so beautifully perfect. I was like, how do I even, like, I felt like at that point, how do I even, like, go from such a beautifully well-made reference sheet to, like, someone else's art style and be like, well, how do you replicate that? Like, you know, like, how do you keep that? So I just, yeah, I was like, no, please, can you be my model mama, actually? I was like, please. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I just think it was all things that I just eventually wanted and things in my life, and then just, I think the hardest part was trying to make it look good, like all the ideas to mash together. But it's just, it is interesting to think that, like, I've always technically still had things or themes that I've liked, which is, you know, like flame, fiery, dragon, red. So yeah, it is interesting in that sense, like having an idea but not fully fleshed out.
Well, that leads up to another thing. Do you plan on doing anything more? Like, is there stuff that you want to add in, or is what you have right now your perfect spot that you like? Like how some people have, like, I guess a 2.0 or 3.0.
I think I have always liked the idea of that, like having different outfits, like even simply just like a cozy outfit model, you know, like I have really liked that idea. Or even, I thought even like a fully fledged out, just armored one would be freaking fully sick. I was just like, bro, like, but like, I think I've had ideas. It's just, I don't think I've branched too far into them, because at the end of the day, especially now, I am unemployed, so I don't feel that I'm in a place financially to make the dreams or ideas come to life. That's something definitely that has stopped me a lot of the time. I know I can technically do things myself, so like if I wanted to try to do more outfit designs, I guess I can. But yeah, the problem is that like actually making it into the model or adding to the model would be the problem. Because it can be quite expensive, and I think that's why I tried so hard to choose very wisely with the art and the rigging as like the main thing that I was gonna like maybe keep for a very, very long time. And then I've always said to myself, I was like, hey, I mean, who knows, if I did make it big and, you know, money was just like rolling in, you know, then I would be like, okay, to my heart's content, and just like, you know, go nuts and just come up with like anything and everything, different outfits and stuff, or different toggles and stuff. I think funny enough, there's some things even with my model now that I had to leave out, because like either I knew that it would be much more money, or like very more difficult to do. Like even simply like I really wanted a fire breathing toggle.
Right.
So, you know, that sort of thing, it's like, okay, well, Jeebus, you know, like I have to get my mama to try to draw that, and then my rigger to try to figure that out, or yeah, just yeah, so there's definitely been things that I've had to like, or even I think things like my tail. I think I originally wanted it to like swing and move around.
Right.
But that was also something that I was like, I can't. I was like, it's just too much. I can't. I have to like let like certain things go. Or even simply the bridger. That's something though that I do want to try to get though. I feel like that one's a bit different because it I think it just adds a bit more because I think I've also had an issue of like, because I, funny enough, started out for VTubing anyway. I actually started out 3D.
Really?
3D model. Yeah, I was. I'm not even kidding. Like a majority of my streaming career has been 3D. That I made myself with Vroid.
Yeah, because I did see in your profile that you said that you've done a bit of rigging, especially the 3D model, which is kind of, how do you say, reverse, where usually people who do VTubing start off with the 2D model and then lead up to a 3D, but you did the other way around.
Yeah. Well, it's just I think what was curious on, you know, like my options at the time when getting into VTubing is that so I think how it went was I did, after doing like no face cam, nothing for a little bit, I was like, but and then VTubing started to roll in. I was like, yeah, you know what, like a little PNG wouldn't be too bad, and then I tried that. That didn't last too long because then I also wanted to try myself like art and rigging live 2D. And that's the old model that you've seen in the short. And that one I was like, this is atrocious. And I was like, no, it was so bad. So I was just like, okay. And then I again looked at my options. I was like, okay, what's something that's a bit easier and that I can have a bit more control, I guess, for myself anyway. And that was when like Vroid was a thing and it's free. And I was like, okay. But mind you, what is curious is that I was on the Vroid beta. So that is, I guess you could say, the old school of it, because you know, that was very much like making everything, a lot of things from scratch, like because I'm not sure if you're aware of like Vroid and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've
or
actually,
if you're more aware of the newer, like stable version.
I'd say the newer one, because I did look into it a few times last year and the year before, but I guess for me it wasn't something I wanted to do just yet, especially for the fact because I was still using a laptop, so me trying to do anything with that was pretty much out of the question.
Yeah, well, an interesting point that I will make is that it's funny because it's definitely changed, definitely for the better, because you know, when I started out with Vroid, it very much was like, oh, make your own stuff. And even like the biggest thing was like, if you wanted to make things like which technically some things you still have to do like that in the Sable one, because I mean, maybe they haven't like added that as a feature yet. But like hair, when you would do like draw hair yourself, I mean, you would actually have to do that yourself from scratch kind of thing. And you know, like for like wings and horns and stuff like that, you would also have to use hair to create them, which is such an odd thing, and it was definitely very difficult because I think a lot of like my journey of like doing Vroid from beta was like I didn't have wings, because wings was like this like, holy cow, that's gonna be so difficult to do how I want it anyway. And then eventually I think then just something in my brain clicked and I was like, oh my god, I actually managed to do it and figured it out. And then but then by that time it was already where I got to like live 2D, and I was like, yeah, because my only gripe with 3D is I think what interested me about live 2D was the fact that, you know, like with 3D your model can move around a lot,
right?
Which means your tracking can move around a lot, and so your model might like start to like slide off to the side, or like kind of break a little, and like the body might twist a little too much to the left or too much to the right while your head is still like forward, or so you'd have to like constantly keep pressing like the recalibrate to like straighten it out.
Oh, wow.
And that would kind of get a little annoying to me, so and also I think, like you said, 3D can run a little bit more, I think, anyway, from my knowledge. So I think in my head I was like being sold this idea of like, oh, live 2D, you know, it doesn't like it moves, but like it at least kind of stays in its place. It doesn't like mess around, like it'll always be with its parameters, like stay in the parameters, not just randomly be like, okay, goodbye, like over here kind of thing.
Right.
And then also that it would run a bit better on the PC, and I think that's what sold me. But I won't lie that swapping over to Live 2D, I did find that the thing that I didn't like as much is that my 3D, I was getting into like iPhone blend shapes. And that was the most fun I've had in VTubing because the expressions that I could make and show to my viewers was like the most fun thing. So, you know, like for going over to Live 2D, I did find that it felt a little less expressive as I used to be. And I think that was like maybe one of the downsides, and that's why I'm hoping that if I did get V-Bridger, that would help a lot. Because yeah, that was definitely, if you go 3D, that is definitely something very fun. It definitely makes you, I don't know, because I think there is like a little difference between 3D to Live 2D with like puppeteering. I feel like almost Live 2D, depending on like maybe your knowledge and stuff like that, you might feel like me a little where like it doesn't like do as much as you would like it to, and you'd have to really exaggerate things, whereas like on my 3D model with the iPhone tracking, it just got it. It just read my face so easy. So like if I was like shocked and like mouth like wide open and eyes darted, like, and I would like look left, right, like as simple as pie. Like it wasn't like as because I think Live 2D is very like you have to consider all factors of like how your model moves and stuff. And if there's like certain things, like for mine, I can't go too much to the left, I can't go too much to the right. Sometimes, you know, parameters can look a little janky if you do them a little wrong and stuff. So there's a lot of things to like consider. Whereas like 3D, you just go nuts. You just kind of go nuts, and you can look to the left, look to the right, like, you know, like a little bit more. So I won't lie, I am currently working on 3D coming back. That is something that I've wanted to come back. So yes, that will be interesting. But quickly as well for the Vroid is the newer stuff is definitely better for new people. Definitely better for new people because it literally does it all for you, because you have things like what's the word, like preset stuff to choose from. So it's a bit more like, you know, like The Sims, where you would go on The Sims and you would choose a hairstyle, you would choose like your eye color and your eyes and outfits and stuff. It's a bit more like that. That's why it's a bit more friendly to try out, so you don't have to like do things yourself. Like you could make right now a 3D model without even having to do anything yourself, because you would just do a couple clicks or a couple slides here and there, because there's like sliders, but you overall wouldn't have to do much. It's only if you want it specifically a way, then maybe a bit more effort into it, but the way it is now, that's why I definitely recommend Vroid now to people. Much easier. Because
before I started this whole PNG stuff, I was curious on like if there was any people who made models that did it for free, and some did. It's just the majority of the time it was always for 2D models, and for me, I don't really have a camera for my computer. I've seen people like how you said it before, you've done it with your phone. I'm amazed how some people are able to either get like a small iPod or tablet and somehow connect it to the computer and have that as their camera. Because that's sort of something I would like to do someday, but but for me, it's just I am a bit worried, and I don't know if you've had this kind of feeling before, but people who either what do you call it? No face cameras or gaming and stuff like that. What I'm worried is like maybe the system glitches one day and actually shows my face, and that's something it's the reason why I chose to be a 2D model, not 2D, sorry, a PNG or like just no face commentary is because I rather prefer not to show who I am or anything else, because like you've heard stories of Twitch streamers getting swatted, or people who do VTubing, but also show what they look like. Like to me, I don't mind if someone shows who they actually are if they're a VTuber, but at the same time, I rather not be forced to see it, because there's always going to be a group of people who actually dig through the files or the history of what this actual VTuber looks like, and to me that's annoying. I rather have that person show it instead of somebody looking for it and just posting it online to say, hey,
kind of more like a choice.
Yeah,
you get the choice if you want to share it, and instead of other people trying to like take that choice from you and just, you know.
And that's why I think if VTubing wasn't a thing, I'd rather just stick to a no camera gaming channel.
Yeah.
And that's
a
bit crazy to see or even hear stories of people swatting for no reason, to the point where there's actual stories where people do die from those kinds of accidents, even though the person who made the call, quote unquote, made it a prank, even though there's actual accidents where stuff like that does happen.
Yeah, for me, what is it? It's definitely interesting because, like I've said in the beginning, even without the existence of VTubing, and I think that's where like I've had a question of that before, like, oh, then like if VTubing didn't exist, what would you do? Would you even be a streamer? Would you just give up? Because was the whole reason you became a streamer because of VTubing? No, actually, because like I said, I was a big fan of Hate Studio Delirious and Swagger Souls and things like that. So yeah, I definitely would have still done it. It just wouldn't be webcam or nothing, just the gameplay and just myself. And my whole reasoning for it, because I know a lot of people have different reasons for it. For me, I'm not necessarily afraid of people seeing how I look. I can be pretty confident in how I look and stuff. It's just for me it's more privacy. I am a introverted person, so you know, like even like that point that you were making of being swatted and stuff, like I think when watching, you know, like things like Swagger Souls and him going to Comic-Cons, and like I do think it's funny in the sense where he can show up to one, he could just take the helmet off and waltz around and no one bats an eye. No one bats an eye, but you know what I mean, like it's just, he can just freely walk around, no one's like screaming at him, freaking him out or anything, and like being like, oh my god, I know you, or anything like that. It's just, you can just walk around, be like a normal person and just chill. And I think I've always liked that concept, because even though it's like, it seems cool to be like a, you know, like a face cam streamer and stuff, like, you know, like Ludwig and stuff like that, like, yeah, it can be cool. It's just I think I just would prefer, if I had the choice like I do now, I would prefer where it's just like I don't have that thing of, oh, I'm walking down the street in my pajamas. I'm just, not really, but you know what I mean, like I'm walking down the street looking like absolute garbo, and then I have like people coming up and going, oh my god, Tan, is that you? Oh my god, could I get a picture with you? And it's like, oh my god, I just came here to like pick up some like chocolate milk or something. Like I'm just doing my thing. Like it's just, I think it's more like that's the appeal that I go for with it. And then the other appeal I go for is like I won't lie that it can go back to looks because like I am a female streamer, but it's more on the fact that like I don't want it to just be on how I look and stuff. I do want it to be for like my personality and stuff like that. Cause I feel like that's where that territory comes into play, where like if you're a female streamer, like face cam kind of thing, it's like this thing of, I mean, God, even bringing up like Pokimane, she had that moment where she didn't have makeup on and the entire world lost it. The entire world, mind you, lost it because she looked like quote unquote a boy and she was a catfish. Like,
God.
I just don't like the whole concept of the world worrying so badly about how you look that day. And that's the thing that I don't like. It's like, and that's why I like the VTubing, it's like, if I want to look like a boy and sit in my room in my pajamas, which I do a lot of, then I will, because I'm just comfortable. And I mean, I can be a self-conscious person, so I also know myself enough to be like, even if I did do like face cam, I would definitely be the type that would have to put makeup on. Not a lot. I'm not someone who does a lot of makeup, but I think it makes me feel a little bit better because I'm like, oh god, not so faced and like a boy or anything, like, you know, or like making sure, oh, I'm wearing something nice and not just my pajamas or something. Because I don't know. I also feel like people can be very weird.
Right.
Very, very weird, and I think those go hand in hand with like the privacy and weirdness of being a female streamer, because it's like, you know, you might have someone being really weird and being like, oh my god, you're so cute, and you know, but then if you're a face cam streamer, they know who you are and they could like be even weirder and be like, look you up, like you said, and be like, oh, I'm gonna find out where they live and I'm gonna like hunt them down because they're so hot, you know, like it's so odd, so very odd.
It is like crazy because I've also I like listening to podcasts, so sometimes I'll be listening to just recently Vichiban has their own podcast.
Oh yes, I had seen a bit of that. I haven't watched their podcast, but like just snippets online.
I think it was the second episode. Rosebud was talking about how she tends to get hit on a lot, and she was talking about how I think it was to get a test or just to eat something, and this random person asked if he could sit next to her, and to her she didn't really matter because she was just going to be looking on her phone and eating, and out of nowhere the guy just starts talking to her, starting a conversation, and she went along with it, paying no mind to it. But then the guy starts saying, so are you single, are you seeing anybody, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that she would have to try to say like, oh, she's dating a girl or stuff like that. And it got crazy because the person literally said to her, well, she's not living with you, so it's not like a real relationship.
Awkward.
That reminds me of another time I got hit on. It was actually like a month ago, and I was going to get blood work done, and then between getting blood work done and going to an eye doctor appointment, I went to a restaurant because I was like, I need food. I just got a bunch of blood drawn. And so I was sitting there by myself, minding my own fucking business, and I went to order food, and this guy was like almost about to butt in front of me, and he was like, no, you go ahead. And I was like, no, you can. And he's like, no, you go. And I was like, okay. And then I sat down, and he was like, can I sit with you? And I am extremely fucking dense. I'm just gonna say it because I did not realize what was happening. And I was like, I'm just gonna be on my phone. I mean, if you want to sit here, you can.
Oh my god.
And he was like, okay. And then I was just minding my own fucking business, dicking around on my phone and eating food. And he was like, so are you from around here? And I was like, yeah, kinda. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, what do you do? Like, and we just started talking. And then randomly, he was like, well, not randomly, but it felt random at the time. He was like, so are you seeing anyone? And I was like, what? I was just trying to eat my fucking food, bro. And then I was like, and I just was like, you know what? Buff would cover for me if Buff was here. So I was like, yeah, I have a girlfriend. And he's like, oh, well, I mean, it's not the same if you don't like live together though. And I was like, oh, we live together. And he was like, oh. And I was like, yeah. And
Wait, it's not the same if you don't live together?
yeah,
What
I
the
don't know
fuck
what the
does
fuck
that mean?
means. I assume he means like, oh, well, you're not committed or whatever. But like, what the fuck, man?
Now, you can't say that shit nowadays when, like, I don't know, relationships, long distance relationships are happening all the fucking time with the internet
That's what I'm
nowadays. That makes no
saying.
sense.
It's bullshit. And so I was just like, no, we live together. And he was like, oh, well, you know, that's great. And then he started talking about like what he was looking for in his life. And I was like, okay.
Dude, I can't believe he was literally like, you about to cheat? You wanna?
I was like, what the fuck, dude? I'm not, listen, I'm not interested, bro. I already made up something so that you like go away. Because he was nice. He was just weird until that moment. I was like, oh. And then I didn't know what to do because I wasn't done eating. I was just trying to finish fucking eating. And he just like made small talk for like 5 more fucking minutes that felt like 5 years. And then eventually was like, well, I'm gonna go. And I was like, okay, bye. And that was that.
Great.
It's fucked up.
Classic random guy in a restaurant.
What the fuck is that? Who does that?
And it just gets crazy because I am friends with with a lot of females, some who are attracted to the same sex. So learning more about what they go through is a bit amazing to me because I'm a guy, so I'm not gonna learn or experience any of that. And especially for the fact that I have 3 younger sisters, so it makes me more cautious of anything happening to them. So hearing what happens to my friends and then hearing stuff what happens to streamers or VTubers, it shouldn't shock me, but it's always crazy whenever I hear a new story of this person getting something this happening or something else like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was even gonna point out like, I think both can equally be bad depending on your situation, but I will also point out that, you know, I think in real life, I feel like it's more likely that you'll be okay, especially if you're hanging with people or like family, and so like I feel like you'll usually be okay for that sort of thing. People might leave you alone a bit more, but I will admit that, you know, another problem with being online is that whole space of it's online and people can get away with a lot of stuff, which means, you know, like that, for example, like that person like hitting on her and like going excessive with it, you know, I think imagining that guy on an online space, it feels like almost like that would be worse. Like he would be very, very, very weird, like even extra weird, because I think what it is, and this is, okay, I will actually admit something. This is something that has bothered me in just, I guess, the online sphere in general, I guess, not to just pin VTubers. I guess it can sometimes be VTubers, but I think just generally online, is that I think, like, it's just this problem of, like, sorry, my brain. People kind of, like, having that mindset of getting away with things, but, like, you know, like, if you think about, like, real life, going out, walking around, socializing with people, you would not have it like how it is online with the things that you see, because there's things that people say online, or people like how they act and stuff, that they would not act in real life. Because I think the difference is real life, there's real like repercussions. Like for that, for example, if she chose, she could have called the cops.
Oh yeah.
If she chose, she could have called the cops. Or even go to the person at the restaurant, wherever she was, and be like, excuse me, this person's making me very uncomfortable, please help me. You know, or anyone for that matter. Anyone. Because people, I think a majority of the time, if you are being a weirdo, they'll gladly help you. Especially if he's being a weirdo. But that's the thing, and I think that's what annoys me on the online space is that people normalize this thing of like being very weirdly sexual when these sorts of things would land you in prison. Like,
Yes.
I see so much stuff in this space that I literally giggle at in my own time because I'm like, if you said that in real life, you would go to prison or something bad because like that stuff just does not fly. And I think that's actually my next point. I think that's maybe the problem with VTuber community for me is that I think it can be a bit of that thing where it's very, what's the word? Like it can feel very La La Land or
Right.
fantasy and characters and these people aren't real. We're just anime girls and anime boys and you know like things like that. And so like oh it's just this fantasy thing. Like they don't have feelings. But like it's not the case at all. Like and I know for me personally when I do streaming to be myself. I think that's the difference with some people. I know that's like a preference, but for me, I do it to be myself. I don't really want to sit there and put on a facade and be like, oh, you know, like I like these things, but I don't actually like these things, or like, oh, I act this way, but I don't actually act that way. Like, it's just I'm a bit more real, I guess. And I think that can be something that can be a little troubling to come across in the VTuber community where a lot of people might play as characters or act certain ways even though they wouldn't actually act that way in real life. So I think as someone who does like to be a bit more real and authentic and, you know, still think of online people as real people.
Right.
And I think that's the thing. I don't think people treat online people as real people, and that's always been the problem with me. It's just I don't think that they actually think that way, but I do, and so it's like, yeesh. I mean, even what's it? So I know this is also another thing of some people make their characters not even based off of themselves. They just like to have a character that might not even look anything like them in real life.
Right.
For me, funny enough, personally again, my model is, look, I'm not a dragon in real life, don't tell anyone. I'm not a dragon in any, like, you know, I'm not a dragon. I don't have scales, you know, things like that. But there are things on my model that I based a bit more personally to myself. Like, me personally, I don't really want to sit here and be like, oh, you know, in real life, I am small-chested, so you know what? I want a big boobied mummy! Like, I don't actually want that. I want me. I want my small-chestedness, so that's where I went with that. And then even like the body type, I went with that because I do feel a little like, cause I do have a bit of like a family thing of like one side's a islander. So, you know, like, I've always kind of grown up with, like, the jokes of, like, oh, we have the hips and stuff, like, you know, so it's just, like, and those are, like, some things, and even, funny enough, this little detail that I think some people miss out on is that my left mole on, my left brow, I have, like, a left mole, there next to my brow, I don't know if you can see it on my model there, it's just like this little dot because in person I do have a mole next to my brow. But see, that's where I feel like there's also a bit of a disconnect with different creators is that, you know, some can have it where, like I said, they don't want to base it off themselves and it has nothing to do with them. So maybe, you know, when people are weird online, they don't feel any connection to the character. But for me, that's not the case. For me, actually, this is almost like my baby. And this almost feels like another reflection of me, because I don't know, I just personally don't really believe in making a character that's completely not just me, because I think like it's not necessarily bad that people want to like, because I mean even that movie, what's that movie, the VR one where they, Do you know that one where like it's like a futuristic? They have VR and they can go into a world and have a different characters and stuff like that.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's a bit of a newer one. It's a bit old now, but just basically that whole concept of that movie is like you don't know what people look like, and it kind of comes off like the same thing with VR chat. Like you don't know what these people look like. They only show you what they want you to want to look like. So like, you might have someone who's like, I think like this could be one because VR chat doesn't have many model options, so you can't really blame people sometimes.
Right.
But like there could be a guy who's just averagely sized, like there's nothing wrong with that, but then he might have to use like a VR chat model that's like a big beefy dude with tats and piercings and all this other stuff, and he's like, that's not really me though, but when you're in VR chat talking to these people, that's how you see them. That's how you know them. And that's also another funny thing of like how I actually have this problem when I play VR chat, is that sometimes I actually forget who people are because people change models too.
Right.
So like in real life, when you see someone, you remember that person because that's who they are and that's how they are. There's nothing they can change. That's them, their true authentic self. Whereas, in VR chat, it's very hard to actually remember who people are because they're like, oh, they could be like a dog, but then the next time you see them, they're like this tiny little chibi cute little fox, and you're just like, sorry, I am so sorry, I don't mean to forget you. Who are you?
I mean, you would think that the name would be highlighted on top of the model just to help you out.
I think that's also a bit of an issue with myself, I won't lie, because I think it's a little different to meet someone in real life and be like, oh, Michael, nice to meet you, handshake, nice to meet you, Michael, and then remember that. Whereas there's people who have names like XXX Fire Goddess 1567 XXX or something.
Yeah.
It's just like how it feels a little less connected emotionally to that. It's kind of hard to like keep that, if that makes sense. For me personally, and I think that's why like the way that I am with VTubing is that's why like a lot of stuff that I do is very more reality, being myself, and I think that's what it is. I'm a big advocate of being yourself,
right?
Not being scared to be yourself, because I know another thing is like I see this a couple times on like VTubing and stuff like that. That I think sometimes people get a little pressured into thinking that they have to be something that they're not to be popular or grow big and stuff like that. And that's why like I'm a big fan of like my VTubers that I looked up to were like Zentreya and Yanis. And the reason for that was because I really liked them just being their goofy, authentic selves. Nothing to do with anything like weirdly personal or anything like that. It's just them being goofy goobers, and that's why I think I also had a thing for like, H2O Delirious. He's just goofy. It doesn't matter, like it really truly doesn't matter what he looks like, how he is, like it's just like he's just him. But like he's not shy of that. He just is him,
Yeah, because
and I'm just a big advocate on that.
No, because that was another thing I wanted to say with Delirious. He literally every year on April Fool's Day, he'll literally have I guess somebody playing as him, or I think what he did last year, where he literally had tons of cameos of different actors saying that I'm H2O Delirious or I'm H2O Delirious, because
oh yeah, I remember. I think Swagger Souls kind of did something like that too, but it was like I think it was like a game. It was like, one of these people were me, but you have to figure out who that was. And it was like, and then I think people were saying, are you actually in this video? Are you like fucking with us? Which I actually have no idea if he actually was or not. I can't remember. It's been a while now, but yeah, like it's so goofy. It's so funny.
And like with another thing, besides like no face or just having the model, another example which you brought up was Zen, where she literally only has TTS, where she doesn't really use her voice at all, especially with singing. Like she has a program that lets her use that same voice to sing because every now and then, whenever she has a new song coming up, I will always see on the Discord people always questioning like if that was her real voice or if that was TTS. And it should be, I'm not saying like they're dumb or anything like that, but it should be obvious that no matter what she does, she's never gonna actually reveal her real voice. Because I remember when I joined her server 2, maybe 3 years ago, where she was a bit more active with movie night, she would occasionally pop up, and the one time she popped up was I think on her birthday, where she actually talked, and it wasn't like her actual voice, like she actually used TTS to talk.
Yeah, she uses it within Discord,
Which amazes me because I before doing the whole commentary thing, I also had the idea of doing TTS, but it just didn't seem right to me. That I'd just rather have my actual voice in it because just like you, how you said it, you want to be authentic, like you actually want to be somebody and not just play a character. Because every now and then you'll see or hear about a VTuber or a YouTuber who plays a role, plays a character whenever they're recording, and I guess you could say if you meet them at a con or just out in public, they're not that person who you see on the screen. They are very, very different.
It can be very interesting, because you can definitely come across that where it's just like you might meet them and they're not what you expected at all, because it's like they don't look like it at all, or like, you know, and it's just like a big shock. You're like, what? Like I just wasn't expecting that. And I don't know, like it is really funny though, because I've come across friends that I have currently now that I won't lie, it's pretty funny because I think sometimes they switch up, because sometimes they'll be like, oh, my character isn't me, you know, like I'm not a, you know, this and that, like how I said I'm not a dragon, you know, like, oh, I'm not a this and that obviously, so it's not really me. But then like occasionally then they'll be like, guys, it's literally me, like it has these things. And like me personally knowing them, it's really funny to know what they actually look like in real life and to look at their model. And I think, I'm not gonna lie, I think it's my favorite thing to see is when I do see similarities. I don't know what it is, I really do love the idea of like, you know, and that's why I said like being a little, because like I said, I'm not a dragon, I don't have red hair either, you know, like things like that. But I think there can be things that can definitely replicate over to real life, and you can just like, instead of that case where you meet them in real life and you go, oh, that's not what I was expecting at all. Like because you could have like even people who do like black and white as a theme as VTuber, like they're like a goth. And then you meet them in real life, they're like a blonde, sweet little thing. Like you know, like it's it's just funny because sorry.
I was about to say, that reminded me of that one game that came out, where you're the manager of somebody who's a streamer.
Oh, I think I remember something.
I forget
like
the
that.
name of it, but and I guess in the game she's actually goth in a way, but when she actually starts streaming, she's like this very happy-go-lucky.
Pop, like pink, love pink. Yeah, right. Like it's definitely interesting. It's definitely funny. But yeah, what I was going to quickly say is that my favorite thing is that when I do see a similarity. So like with my friends, I do see, funny enough, like knowing what they look like in real life into their models, I do see them as their models, funny enough, because it's like, there's so many similarities. I'm like, oh, same color this. Oh, they have the same, like how I said I have the mole. They might have something else, like, oh, I've got piercings here and there, or oh, I've got a mole over here on my model that's like mine, or like, and it's like, I think that's my favorite, I don't know why. It's just always been my favorite. Because don't get me wrong, like having a character, like some characters are definitely cool. People come up with some really cool stuff, and I love to see that stuff. But at the same time, it's just, I don't know. I think it's just equally cute to be like, oh my god, like that's literally you. Like that's just like, oh, like it's so cute to like see it just replicated over to their VTuber and stuff. I don't know why. It just feels, again, it just feels more authentic and just cute. And it's just like, oh, like that's so sweet. But yeah.
But at the same time, you also have people. I don't think they ever use it, but it's just something that they like to come up with. Where some people literally have made, from what I've seen, I don't know if I can find it, but somebody literally has made a VTuber model of a gun.
Oh yeah, even that stuff. Yeah.
A car.
Very creative. Yes. I think I've seen like Truck Chan and I've seen a lamp VTuber.
I've saw literally somebody make a character from the movie Cars as a VTuber.
Oh yeah. it's crazy. It's so crazy.
It's amazing how what people can literally come up with, because that's the thing I like about VTubers is
that is definitely fun.
You could be almost like yourself, or just be crazy and be whatever you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do agree on that. No, yeah, that stuff is always fun. That's why I said, like, it does surprise me to see like really cool, like creative, like models, and just be like, wow, like, you know, like it's just really cool. I mean, actually, one I just thought of, I'm blanking on their name, but I don't know. I'm very back and forth because, like I said, I really do appreciate the creative ones and them coming up with just like crazy creative things and just being like, oh my gosh, it's so cool, regardless of what they look like. Like, I think when it comes to those ones, it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with what they look like. It's just creativity and just like, you know, like it's just so solely focused on that creativity, and it's so fun that you don't even like think about that at all. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. There's this VTuber going back to like themselves. There's this one that's like a fairy. She's very good at art.
I think I know who you're talking about.
She does more like what's the word for it? Renaissance? Not Renaissance. Like portraits.
Yes.
Stuff. And oh my god, I don't know. Again, I don't know what it is. It's just always so satisfying and so cute and so authentic to just see them thrive, being literally themselves in VTuber form. Because like, I just don't know how to explain it. It's just the cutest thing to see that, and then see the pictures that they post of themselves and just almost like tear up because it's just like so cute. Like, you're just the cutest thing, and it's like so awesome to just see them essentially just convert themselves in real life to online. And it's just like so cool and creative. But yeah, it's just
because like I would like to see a lot more stuff like that. Especially with I want to say Pumpkin,
I've seen
rubber...
a bit of Pumpkin stuff. Yeah.
Her...
Robert Ross.
Oh, him. Yeah, like all their stuff is amazing because you can never. I guess, for me, it's probably not something I would ever think of or even want to do, because I'd say it's, for me who's just starting, I think it's very difficult to even come up with the idea or at least have the materials to do something what they can do, because for me it's just a normal small PNG of whatever I came up with, but then you have people who can do that kind of stuff. It's amazing because I definitely want to see more different kinds of things that people come up with, because I think literally not too long ago, I think it was this year, when Mickey Mouse became a public domain, a lot of people instantly just started making models of him, or his what do you call it, the literally old black and white model of what he looked like back then. Like you would see people like making the 2D model, and I think somebody made a 3D model of him. I could be wrong, but like you want more of the VTuber community to expand to just more crazy and amazing things that they can do with.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think it can get interesting depending on each person, because like even that VTuber that I just explained, like, you know, like even in like my shoes, I could never come up with that sort of stuff. And I think what it is though is it's like, I think I've been someone who does have ideas, who does have creative ideas, and sometimes I might not. But I think there can be elements, like I said, even just financially, that stop me, or just and I know like some people, when I tell them this, they might think that I'm like being like hard on myself, but it's I think it's good to be a bit more reality check to yourself though, and be like, you know, like where I'm at right now as we speak, I'm just not to that level of like you know, like them, like they do the art and rigging of their own model, and I'm just, you know, at the point I am in my life, I'm not to that advanced of a level, you know. But it's just like knowing that, you know. So I mean, not to say that you can't get better, which I mean, even with my drawings, you know, like throughout the years, it's definitely funny, because it's like I can look at my art and think like, man, like, can it just get better already? You know, like, can I just like be like poof, like just like that kind of art, and just like absolutely gorgeous immediately, and just like be that, like be known for like really good art and stuff like that. But at the same time, I do laugh at myself when I look back at like old drawings that I've done and go, crap, I've really improved. Like, it's like, because it's like, it's so easy to like I said, like sit here and be like, man, can I just like get to that like fantastic professional point already and just be so good, 1,000 out of 1,000, you know. But then just like, yeah, just stepping back and just looking at old stuff, and kind of go like, but shit, I have improved, I have gotten a bit better, even if a little, or just like, you know, because man, yeah, I mean, even simply my emotes and stuff, like I have like old maybe like messages when I use the old emotes, and I'm like, damn, those are terrible. I'm like, holy crap, what was I thinking? Like, and then I look at my news, I'm like, yeah. And that's I think, funny enough, with the art that I have now, it's I think I've found a neutral ground of comfortability with my art, because I think I've always had a problem as well with like keeping a style. I've never been consistent. It's always changed. I've always tried new things. I've maybe stuck with some things, and some things have just completely changed again. But one main thing that I've noticed with myself personally is that I have always, I mean, like most of the time, always gone for like thick line art, clean line art. That's just always been my thing I've noticed with myself, and I think that's why I went with the style that I have now, that's a bit more clean and stuff, because I think it's like, again, just accepting reality and knowing that, you know, that I do prefer that and I stick with that, so I should just stick with that kind of thing, like the best that I know and the best that I like. Not to say that you can still branch out, because even now I'm doing an artwork that, because I used to do a bit more like actual illustration stuff, but then I guess I just stopped, and then I went like how I am now, which is a bit more like simple art, very simple, easy to make kind of thing. But then, yeah, again, recently I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna draw like this giant ass illustration, and I'm like, what the hell? And then with that one, I think I want to be, again, a little bit more creative and try some new stuff, or like maybe a different coloring technique and stuff. I guess we'll have to see. But even that one, I'm doing like a bit of a thinner line art, but like it's still like clean, and so like, yeah, it's just very interesting. It's just, yeah.
So yeah, like I said, that this video was a 4-hour session. I am cutting it, so if you want to hear, or hear more about our talks with other stuff that we discussed for the second part, subscribe, hit that notification if you want to get notified for the part 2 video, because she was definitely a lot of fun to talk with, and hopefully I can get her to come back to do more, because I think we still have a lot more things to talk about that we never really got to do in the video, especially for the fact that we were at a tough well, not tough. I couldn't really plan the time perfect for us to have a long conversation, even though we kind of got carried away with it. But yeah, hopefully I can get her back again so we can talk about other things.